Hello friends, it's been a long time and it's been very busy, but today I'm so excited because I'm going to be sharing how to plant up and install a WallyGro EcoPlanter succulent living wall, and I'm really excited to share about this. I love working with these planters. I love creating really statement piece living walls using them. There's a number of reasons why I really adore working with this particular brand of planters. It's called the EcoPlanter by WallyGro. One of the first reasons I love it is because it's made all of recycled plastic bottles. So it's actually upcycling. It's taking something that would otherwise end up as trash and turning it into something beautiful and useful and something that's going to be used over and over. Also, I love how easy it is to install. So each one of these comes with a little installation piece that looks like this, with a screw, which I just dropped, and an anchor. And for each planter, you only need to drill one hole. So you drill this piece into the wall, and then this clips in to this right here and sits like that. And it's just so easy to install. And I love making them. They're just really so much fun, and they really create such statement pieces. And so what I'm gonna be demonstrating for you all today is how I go about planting one of these for a succulent living wall. And the end result that we'll have is something that looks a lot like this. Now I'm actually in the process of creating 20 of these planters for a residential installation that's going in tomorrow actually, and I will video that and splice it on here so you can see the whole process. But I've got about 2 more planters left to plant, and I thought, hey, let me share with you how I'm gonna go about doing that. So when I'm doing succulent planters like this, I actually try to fill up a little bit of the bottom space because succulents don't really need super deep root systems, and it can get pretty heavy with some of the succulent soil in particular. So what I like to use is old nursery pots. I always keep a bunch of these. I return a lot to my wholesale sellers so they can use them again, and then I use them over and over again in many different ways to upcycle them into different products that I'm doing. So for this, I take about 3 of these 2-inch containers, or if I had a 4-inch, I'd use one of those. And I just lay them in the bottom just to take up some space and create more air pockets. Now, one of the things that's really cool about this planter is you'll notice there is no drainage hole at the bottom. But if you look here at the front, these are all actually little holes. So air is actually able to pass through. So there's ventilation and air that comes into the root zone of the plants, which is awesome. Also, in the back here, there's a watering reservoir. See right there? So you pour water into the back and it seeps down into the roots that way. So it's just really healthy for the plants, and you don't have to worry about drippage, especially if you're creating a living wall. You don't have, and especially if you're doing it inside, you don't want to have to worry about all that drippage happening. So this maintains it as long as you don't overwater. It keeps the roots really happy, especially with this beautiful built-in ventilation system. So anyway, I like to add a little bit more air by using a bit of these nursery pots at the bottom. Fill in with a lot of soil from there, and then I'll start planting. So what I'll be using for this today, about 2 of these 6-inch succulents like you see here. So about 2 of these will fit in here, and then I often like to fill in with a bit of clipped succulents. So I have some clipped from my garden here. I've got some grape Dovaria paraguayanaceae, or I'm definitely not saying that right, but ghost plant right here. I've got some kalanchoe, some types of jades, some crassulas, some jade varieties. Yeah, things like that. So just some kind of like fillers, some more extra greenery to kind of make it look really nice and full when it's complete. All right. Oh, other things I'm using, succulent blend mix. So it's going to be a blend of soil that has good drainage, and then of course I always add extra pumice and some extra horticulture charcoal to that, just to keep the plants really happy and really healthy in their planted environment. All right, we're gonna get to planting. So when I plant something like this, I like to remove some of the nursery soil, and I really like to especially break up some of that top layer of soil where it can often get kind of packed in and old and crusty. This is also a really good opportunity to remove old dry leaves that are otherwise hard to get to. So it's kind of like doing a little bit of grooming of the plant before planting it in. And for some of the plants, if the roots are really like tightly bound, I kind of like to, this one is not, but I kind of like to just tickle them a little bit to let them know they're going to be able to spread. Now, this one doesn't have that much soil around it once I kind of got to where the roots are at. So I'm going to add a little bit more soil in here. This is a succulent soil blend that I'm using. It's got a lot of pumice in it and charcoal. And then I simply make space and plant the second one in. Now I kind of like the plants to be somewhat close together. As you can see here, I just think it gives it a really lush, pretty look. All right, so I filled in with some extra soil, just making sure everything is well planted. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of filler, a little bit of greens to fill in some of these back areas. So I have this nice clipped kalanchoe right here. And for that, all I'm going to do is just make a little hole with my chopstick. Here it is, my little chopstick right here. Just make a little hole in the soil and stick this plant in. I can use my chopstick to fill back in around. You can see how that adds just a pop of green, a little bit of color. I have some room right here as well to add a little bit more. I'm not feeling that one. I think I'll use a little bit of this ghost plant actually. Scrape the area. No, doesn't need it. So it is a little bit of playing around. Like sometimes you're like, I really need to fill in that space, and sometimes you're like, actually no, it looks better without it. So, and that's why I always like to have extra clipped plants laying around just to tell whether or not I want to fill in more or not. But no, I think this is nice and simple, just as it is. I did it. WallyGro Succulent Living Well installation is up. I adore making these. As I mentioned earlier, the WallyGro EcoPlanters are so incredibly easy to both plant and install. There's one hole, one screw for every single planter. So it's really just about getting your measurements right, making sure you measure like 3 times before you drill, and then you get this gorgeous, gorgeous wall of beauty, of living art, of nature. And it really just feels like this wall was just waiting for these plants to come and fill it up. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please shoot them in the comments. I'm also going to link to the WallyGro EcoPlanters so you can find them for yourself. And thanks for watching. So much fun. Bye.